Good job. Jeff, did you finally wholesale that deal, bro, and make 200 grand or what?
No, no, not 200, not 200.
Did you
10 per.
wholesale it?
Yeah, I wholesaled it. Yeah.
Dude, how congratulations, bro. How much? Let's go. Let's
Uh
go.
let's go. So I actually got it assigned today.
Fuck yeah.
Um yeah, so super
That's sick.
exciting. Yeah, and it was coming down to the wire. Like my conditional period was like up on Friday, right? So found a buyer for it. I had one final walkthrough as a backup, but they didn't offer nearly as much.
So how much did
So
you make? I want to know that. That's all I want to know.
So 20K fee plus 20% of the profits
Oh,
later
that's
once they
sick.
sell it. Yeah.
Dude, that's sick. So what he did here was he instead of collecting a 200 grand assignment fee, like a large assignment fee, what he did was he collected a smaller one. And I do this all the time. He collected 20 grand up front, but now he's a business partner and he owns 20% of the deal. Is that correct?
Yeah, so he didn't want to put me on title or anything, but we worded it so that
Yeah,
whatever he does, development, um, fix and flip, uh severance, anything, it's
right.
20% of whatever they get after expenses.
Right. So the key thing here is like a lot of people think that wholesaling is just for making fast cash, but it's also like an entry point into getting into long-term investments. Because I did one recently like this where now I own 25% of a fourplex and I got in for free. And so you're basically getting paid to be a part of somebody else's investment. And if they turn it into a buy and hold, you're going to have 20% of the cash flow. You're going to have 20% of the equity when they go to sell it. Dude, that's sick.
Yeah, man, second deal, man, it's crazy, man. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so how much now you've done like 30 grand in assignment fees?
So 25 technically. My first one was just 5 grand because I JV'd with a partner in
Yeah.
Toronto, and then this one's
Wow.
significantly
And
more.
you
Yeah.
haven't been taking it that seriously for that long. Like you just started a month or two ago, seriously, right?
Um, like in terms of, so like when it came to this deal, it like there was a lot of emotions and stuff, and I sort of didn't want to make any calls at
Yeah.
that point because I'm like scratching my head trying to figure out how to disposition this deal. Disposition, it was so tough. And
I
I'm
was
like
willing to help you with it.
yeah, no, I know. I was
You
being a
you
little
took it for
bit.
granted. You thought you could get a better deal somewhere else, and then you didn't.
Well, like the thing is that I already put money into it, getting drone footage, an appraisal done,
Mm,
getting an as is appraisal. So
right.
I was like kind of being stubborn. So I ended up connecting with one of the largest flippers here. I don't know
Yep.
if you know Luke Boyron, but he flips a lot in Ottawa. So
Yep.
I showed him the deal. He actually wanted a lot less for what I got it originally under contract for. So
Of course.
I actually had to go back to but he also offered that 20%, right?
Yeah.
Initially 25%, and then it went down a little bit more.
Right.
But I had to get, because I locked it up at 402, 500. I found out that my appraisal was a little bit inflated. So it didn't end up being that 200K assignment fee kind of deal, right?
Right.
Because something sold down the road that was already fixed up
Right.
at like five something.
Right.
Um, so I had to go back to the seller and get a 50K price reduction
Right.
in order for me to sell it at 375
Right.
and lock it up at the new price of 355.
Nice.
So yeah, it was
It's
a lot.
so,
It was a puzzle piece that it was a puzzle that I had to figure
so
out, right?
would you agree that like a lot of people ask me like they think it's almost too good to be true that we don't pay for properties, like we make 20 grand in real estate by flipping it without paying for properties, but how you pay is in all of that active work that went into it. How many hours do you think you actually worked on that one deal before you assigned it?
In total,
Yeah.
um, I mean, with because I did like what, 4 walkthroughs, um probably about 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours.
Okay, so you worked 8 to 10 hours, let's say round numbers, and you
Yeah,
made 20 grand, and you own a 20% equity in $1 million deal, like it'll be a million ARV or something.
it's possible. It depends
Yeah.
on what he does with it, right?
So
If he
you
flips
could
it
have,
in, yeah.
so you at the end of this deal, you might have made 220,000, like by the time, like if it ends up being some property that you own 20% in and it's $1 million and plus your
Very,
assignment fee.
very possible, yeah.
Dude, I'm
I'm
so happy
fingers
for you.
crossed.
I
Yeah,
knew I knew you were gonna be successful because I used, just so everyone knows, like I used to cold call this guy. He was on my list and I would cold call him, be like, yeah, man, you want to come join our program and everything. And then he was very reluctant in the beginning, and then you finally took action, and I'm glad that you're here.
what's funny is I cold called you, right? Because I was seeing all these ads on Instagram, and
Right,
I was already following you on Insta,
right.
and then I cold called one of your VAs or your
No, no,
acquisitions
no, no.
people.
You called my sales guy. I have a
Yeah,
guy
I
like
called you.
my
Yeah,
in my wholesaling business because I wholesale, but I don't do the phone calls. I have a
no,
guy who does phone calls, and you called him, and you're like, "What'd you say?"
I was like, hey, I kind of just want to learn the business and stuff, and he's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I could probably send you over to Tony and
Right.
see what's up. And then you gave me a call, and then we chatted, and
Yeah.
I said how that's crazy. I follow you, and
So, but one thing too is like I like whether you're in wholesaling or what, we're in sales at the end of the day. This is like say marketing and sales, and the money's made in the follow up. And I had to follow up to get you into here. I had to follow up with you probably 3, 4 times over a long period of time. And look what it leads to stuff like this. But same thing goes when you have a distressed seller on the other end. The money's made in follow up majorly over time.
yeah, what I really realized is, it's throughout this entire process, it felt like I had to like do a lot of convincing, like 3, 4 times in a like back to back. And the thing with having a distressed seller that wants to sell their home, they they're gonna lay it down 50
Yeah.
grand price reduction.
Yeah.
Like when you're so close
Yeah.
and there's a lot on the line, as long as they're distressed, you can make a lot of
So
crazy things happen.
what was the seller's distress in this situation?
Oh, well, the home's not in good condition. He just wants to get out of there and move to somewhere rural that's, you know, a lot further away from the city, because it's a quite a central spot,
Yeah.
and into a home that he doesn't have to put repairs in. Like the foundation's cracked,
Yeah.
the furnace was blown, the AC doesn't work, the kitchen has mold in it, like who
Yeah.
wants to live in that? And on top of that, like it's like a semi hoarder kind of situation, right? So like they just want a fresh start. And that's, I have a background in sales, so I was able to use those stress points and sort of ease them into being, trusting me at the end of the day.
Right. Dude, that's awesome. And like oh, I had a question that was on the tip of my tongue right now and I totally forgot what it was. It was like burning question. What was your biggest takeaway from this one?
Well, second deal, man. Um, you know, uh I'm starting to realize now that my time's valuable.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, I'm starting to get leads. I like for me, I'm taking the more corporate kind of route. I've made like the whole Google business stuff and like Facebook, making it look legit.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, they're coming to me, and if they're listed with a realtor at a higher price than what I'm looking at comparables, it's kind of like, why even bother, like
Yeah.
get to me when it's expired, or you have a mutual release from your realtor, right?
Right.
um like if I can look at the property, realize they're not with a realtor, and then I have a question specifically, what's the address and how much are you looking for? At the end
Right,
of the day, if they're already looking for under market value for
right,
what the market calls for, then
right.
that looks like somewhat of a deal,
But dude,
right?
think about this. You were so you're learning to prioritize, and everybody who's getting started and watching this, in the beginning, you should be making on offers on all the leads so you get to the point where he's at. But once you start getting momentum and you start knowing what you're doing, you get better at prioritizing where you put your time. Like me, I disqualify stuff probably too quickly because I'm impatient, but I'm the same way as you with that. Question for you. Um, how long have you been wholesaling for? Like taking this seriously? Because I remember you kind of didn't really, you just got serious recently. How long ago was that?
Um, so I've been really interested in it for the past 4 months and working towards it. Yeah, about 4 months, I'd say.
Yeah, 4 months,
Yeah,
two deals. And
yeah,
one of them, like if it ends up working out that you net 220 grand in the long term, that's insane.
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Imagine
yeah.
like 1 year from now when you just keep doing these back to back. And another thing too is you were planning to be a realtor, man. Like I think that every single wholesaler should be a realtor too, because think about how many of these people are fed up with their realtor. And if you plant the right seed over time, when they're able to sell, they list with you. Or like, do you get a lot of listings where, or a lot of people call you where they're like, yeah, I'm about to like list it on the MLS and I just want to see what you would offer?
Yeah, I've gotten a few calls like that.
Dude,
Yeah.
those are like gold mines for us. What I do is I send my realtor down there under the pretext that we're gonna buy it, but I plant the seed up front where like, it probably doesn't fit our buying criteria right now, but we can come have a look if you want and see if we can buy it from you. And then he goes there, he does the walkthrough, and by this time we've spent like 3-4 hours with the seller at the house, talking to them on the phone. We've developed this deeper relationship. And then at the end of it, he'll be like, yeah, sorry, I don't think that this fits Tony's buying criteria. And I was here for him as like, just kind of as a consultant, but I am a realtor. Would you like my opinion on what we could do here if it was listed? And he gets listings like that all the time. So if you were the realtor, you'd be getting so many listings out of this.
Yeah, for sure. So like I said, I I was looking for a brokerage. I think I found the brokerage that I'm gonna sign with because
Which one?
so it's called Your Home Sold Guaranteed.
It
Um
sounds like a bunch of
but
wholesalers.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So they do the whole like, oh well, if we don't sell it, then we'll buy it kind of thing, right?
Right.
So I mentioned what I'm looking for and to not like have that monkey on my back kind of thing. And like the
Yeah.
broker record seemed like pretty nice about it and said, yeah, you can, I'll let you like run your business while being a
Sick.
realtor. So it depends where you go. Like you have to talk with the actual broker
Yeah.
record. And then if they're like a franchise,
Well,
then not so much because they have different contracts and stuff, right? So
imagine if you're like a wholesaler, you're wholesaling properties to flippers. The flippers are renovating them, listing them with you, and then you're also like selling them down the road. You're like,
yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, if they could list with me after
yeah,
they flip. Yeah.
yeah, sick. Good job, man. Do you have any advice for anybody here who's in the grind phase, who's like, they're getting started, they haven't got momentum doing this yet, but they're like, what would you say to them?
Um, Sort of as a motto from what I've learned in my experience, instead of ready, aim, fire, it's more like ready, fire, and then aim, you know? Like at the end of the day, if you don't take action and you don't do, you do too much, analysis, like you're never gonna make that first step, right? So start walking and then sometimes you'll be forced to run and then next thing you know, you're chilling and you have a signed contract and you're
Yeah,
you're making money.
yeah. Dude, that's so exactly what I would say too, is just take action and figure the rest out as you go. Because
Yeah.
yeah, create the momentum.
Have a lawyer, have a good real estate lawyer. Um an agent is very helpful, especially when it comes to acquisition, because they can pull up the geo warehouse report or the MCAP stuff or whatever,
Mhm.
and you could actually see how long the sellers had it for, all of the description of the property, plenty of things that you put on the contracts. Um, and yeah,
Sick.
a lawyer to go over your clauses and whatnot. That would be helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just had another thought, man. One last thing. What was the price of the property?
So the so the assignment price that I assigned it for was 375.
Dude, that's insane. Well, no, okay. So sorry. I thought you were going to say 300. So you basically got okay, hold on. I just want to break down the math a little bit on this because I love numbers. So $20,000 assignment fee, is that correct?
Yeah.
Divided by 375. So you assigned it for 375, but what would you have it for?
I had it locked. So I had it locked up originally for 402 500.
Yeah.
I got the price reduction to 355.
Okay.
So
So
I
20,000 divided by 355.
yeah.
Shit. 20. Can anybody do that quicker than me? Because I'm taking forever. So
Are you trying to get like the
so
percent
you
there?
made almost a 6% assignment fee. So you made a 6% assignment fee and you own 20% of what do you think it would appraise for right now?
So it's funny, I got an appraisal at 575, but it was definitely an inflated one.
Right.
Probably because they didn't have any comparables.
So do you think
Um,
500 or 400 or
it's probably around 450, realistically. It's
okay?
probably
And you
worth
own,
around.
so you made 25% and now you own 20, you made 20 grand as an assignment fee and you own 20% of 450. So 450 times 0.2, that's 90 grand, dude. You made like just like without any of this deal being like done, you own $90,000 of equity in this deal and you got paid a 6% assignment fee. Like when you compare that to being a real estate agent, this is why real estate agents hate wholesalers because we make so much money.
Yeah, I can see the power in wholesaling, and like it sort of opened my eyes that like whatever's written in the contract is what you get, right?
Right. So
They
in my
like you could say, give me your 10 horses,
right,
from your stable
right,
upon assignment. You know what I mean? It's
right.
like, yeah.
We've had some crazy ones, by the way. Yeah, like, but so in my mind, then you made $90,000 plus 20,000. That's $110,000 in my books that you made on this deal. That's insane, dude.
Yeah, it's exciting, yeah.
And how much money, actually, how much money did you have invested in it?
So I got one of my buddies to do drone footage for it for
Yeah.
like $400. And then I got a appraiser to do an appraisal on the severance as if the half of it were to be severed. So that was $200, and then the actual entire property itself was about 400. So a thousand bucks all in to
You
get those things
invested a
done.
thousand, you made $110,000 roughly.
That's yeah, like if you put it that way. Yeah.
That's
So
crazy. That's crazy. Good job, bro. Okay, I'm gonna stop beating a dead horse here, but I'm so proud of your success. That's awesome. So,
thanks, man. Hopefully it keeps coming. Keep it coming,
do you have any more
So
in the pipeline, like hot ones that are percolating?
uh I have two interesting prospects that look
Okay,
out of like 20, so yeah.
sick. Awesome. Good job.